The TikTok I made for this episode like kind of blew the fuck up. Like it's at like 4,000 views. So yeah, welcome
What's
back
that
everyone
again?
to Films and Fandoms with Kaylee and Lex. I'm joined by Alex, and once again we're going to be talking leverage. This time we're going to be talking season 3, episode 3, the inside job. So before we get into this episode, I'd like to thank our sponsor, navco.org. And if you want to support the podcast, you can find us on Ko-Fi, or you can buy a coffee on Ko-Fi uh, at Films and Fandoms. And you can see the link I posted in the chat. If anyone's interested, and we got the QR code in the corner you can scan if you want to support the podcast. So, yeah, today, again, we're going to be talking the inside job. A bit of a summary before we get started. It's race against the clock, but more like security system. When the team must rescue Parker from an unknown location after she gets caught trying to do a job to save her mentor. Worst yet, Parker is trying to crack one of the most dangerous security systems in the world, Steranko. And this is not the first time, or I should say, this is not the last time we will hear the word Steranko.
Yep.
Uh,
But this is the first time we're hearing of it in
yes,
this
this is the first time we hear about this.
and it's a AI based security system, which is creepy.
I think
Creepy.
a little bit like AI based, but we'll get into that during the episode. But the second time, I think we hear about Steranko is in the Long Goodbye Job.
Yeah, it comes up again.
Long Goodbye Job, and I'm not going to talk about that episode because I don't feel like crying right now. So let's get into this episode. Oh God. See, I'm trying to think. What's the halfway point? Like legit. Hold on. Are we halfway through? Hold on. There's 77 episodes. So 77 divided by 2. Episode 38. That would be 13. The Underground Job in
I
episode
hate
10.
that episode. I hate that episode.
It's the halfway point, is all I was saying. But yeah, let's get back to the inside job. So the director for this episode is John Rogers. So
And you know it's gonna be good with either if it's Dean Devlin or John Rogers directing the episode. You know it's gonna be good if it's one of those two.
and I don't know if you've picked up on this, but any episode that John Rogers direct, well, I think it's because John Rogers directed it. This one has a little extra fuck the rich aspect to it, and also
I kind of
anti-corporation.
I kind of like that.
I dig it. I dig it too. And we'll get more into that with this episode. But the writers for this episode is also John Rogers, Chris Downey, and Joffrey Thorne. So I think we've seen Joffrey in the previous episodes. But I would start out with a very hot open at Wakefield Agricultural Corporations. That's like where this episode's taking place. And we see someone running down hallway, alarms going off. They're dressed in all black. And we see it is Parker.
Yeah, but my first immediate thought when I saw this is like, this is the first time that we. This is not actually. I don't think this is the first time that we actually see them in the middle of a job, and well, any of the
Yeah,
team members in the middle of basically chaos,
a little
and
bit.
the absolute fear on Parker's face.
Yeah, she
That scared
think
me. I'm like,
just think
what's
what's
going
going
on?
on. She's
What
like,
happened to Parker? What the fuck?
yeah, but you could kind of see it in Parker's face that this is like the moment. Like she goes around a corner, hides along like wall, pulls off her mask, and you kind of see on her face where it's like she's not in. Like she's like, okay, this is like I think it might have been enough more than I can chew.
It's more of a, oh, what do I do now? Like panic
Yeah,
on
a
her
little bit.
face. And we don't usually see that with her. With her, it's more stoic. There's no like little to no
Yeah,
expression. More like robotic, if that makes sense, of like her facial expressions. But to see like that raw emotion on her face,
yeah,
I
yeah.
want to know what's going through her head.
Yeah. So let's. All right. So like we have that, and then immediately cuts to Nate watching the news and cooking breakfast. Sophie walks in and have kind of this like funny little sweet moment. Sophie's like, these are our offices, right? Nate's like, well, I sleep upstairs, so what am I supposed to do? Cook on a hot plate? And then he like feeds Sophie a little breakfast.
I feel cute. I love it.
It's funny. She's like, I should have asked you to cook breakfast sooner. But it's like a prison kitchen, 6 months. Like, I don't think prison is the place where you learn to cook, Nathan. But whatever.
It might have been. You never know.
Uh, hmm. No, because so my grandfather, I think, I think my grandfather, they brewed alcohol. And that's like they called it hooch. Like he literally brewed hooch when he was in prison. So yeah, we're just gonna move on from that statement. Yeah, no, this next part's a little bit funny though because Nate then Sophie's like, we're gonna talk about that kiss. So it was, what, like kiss? I just remember a slap. And it just like, and Sophie's like, we're still working off the slap. Hmm. Like Nate is so fucking whipped by Sophie. It is not even fucking funny at this point.
No, it's freaking cute, is what it is.
It is. But what's funny
And
is
you
so
can see it, like when she says that, the look he looks over at her and he goes, you can see the hard eyes, and I'm like, boy, just kiss her already.
yeah. And then of course they gotta of course then, phone calls gotta interrupt the moment, but it's who we find out to be Archie Leach, played by the late Sir Richard Chamberlain. R.I.P. Mr. Chamberlain, because he did die March 2025. So he did pass away last year.
Yep. And now whenever I watch episodes with him in it, I get a little misty eyed.
Oh, yes.
But his cunning and his quick wit as Archie is
Mm-hmm.
forever going to be iconic.
Yes. And I feel like had Redemption gotten to season 4, it would have been nice to bring back Archie.
Even if it was like a phone call or something.
Yeah, I mean,
Or like
unfortunately,
but
with
yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, with Sir Richard Chamberlain's passing,
That
that
didn't happen, which is
that
really
yeah,
sad.
that didn't happen in season 3. But I think I feel like it would have been appropriate. I think it would have been interesting to have like Archie come back. Well, not have Archie come back, but like have Parker,
Like show off her growth as a person
but then
to
like do
him and
something
be like,
for Archie.
kind of, I guess, close the book on their relationship a little bit and give
Yeah,
like
or
a
like
finite,
finish
like
the
finished
would be
finished ending, but we'll never
yeah,
get that, which is really sad.
yeah.
I kind
Uh,
of, I kind of was when I saw the news. I think it was Dean had like posted like on
yeah,
Twitter or something,
yeah,
and I
Dean
was in shock.
Yeah, and then what was cool was I think Electric Now did the whole like ad campaign or not ad campaign. Jesus Christ, they aired like this episode. They also aired the other episode. We'll find out Archie's in, which is the
The last damn job.
last. Yes, it was the last damn job. Which
I love the thing with the like the taser cane. It's like I don't know if this is the one with the knife or the taser because I'm really super old.
these are
I love that man.
I do like that Archie's kind of like we obviously get this vibe like as soon as we meet him. He's
He's
kind of
very protective of Parker, and I
but,
love it.
but I think he's styled off of like those like 70s and 80s gentlemen English thieves.
Yeah, I kind of okay. This is gonna be
Like
a
I'm
weird
thinking Thomas Crown Affair, I'm thinking Italian, the original Italian.
Italian. Yeah. Well, the what I kind of got the vibe of this is gonna be a weird comparison because they're completely different, but the the man who trained our Parker to be Parker, it's called the Gentleman Thief.
Paula Robbins.
Yeah, Paul Robbins has that same kind of laid back control to him, and I get that vibe from Archie. I love it.
Yeah. No, you're like, yeah. So back to the phone call. Basically Archie tells State he immediately to the state answers, he's like, this better be good. They're just like, Parker's in trouble. She went in without me, and the building has a stricter security system. You and I both know what that means. And Nate asks no fucking questions about why this random man just called him saying someone he knew is in trouble, talking about a security system, only he would understand the implication of. And it's like, Parker tried to crack a Serenko by herself.
And you can see like the pure panic on his face.
Yeah, yeah. And then like Sophie too, because Nate hangs up the phone, gets his coat on his head. He's like, Parker took out an outside job without us.
And it's kind of like, what?
And it's
What's
like,
going on?
yeah. And it's like, okay, call Hardison. I'll call Elliot. Tell them meet me at Parker's place. Sophie's like, is Parker in trouble? And Nate's like, oh, she's in more than trouble. But basically, he's saying she's fucked.
Yeah, because they know what a Steranko will do. It
Yeah.
basically it's an AI based security
Let,
system.
yeah.
Yeah, and it will lock you in if you are inside of it.
And that's kind of what well then that the next scene we literally see Parker kind of getting locked in a bit because she's running through the building hiding from guards with guns, and we also see inside the Struggle control room and the head security guy whose name's Voorhees. So it's just a matter of time until they get to Parker, though they don't know it's Parker yet. And then we get the classic intro.
Of course.
Yep. So very hot open before the intro in this episode. Show Nate and Sophie pull up to this warehouse, tires smoking, and
And I like how the boys,
they
Hardison and Elliot, are like, "What the fuck?"
oh yeah, when they all walk in,
Yeah, they're so confused because there's just like a bed and like
yeah, because Nate,
bulletin board something, right?
Yeah, Nate and Sophie walk in first. There was like a bed with the bunny from the pilot on it, Bun, and there's just a shelf of cereal.
Yep, and then like a bulletin board thing,
racks of all of her
clothes and stuff, all of her equipment, and then
her rigs.
And then
drawers
folded up underneath is like her clothes and stuff. And then there's like a bulletin board
tables
of all of her stuff.
Yeah,
and they're so confused, and I love it.
I like though that Nate automatically knows that, like, oh yeah, the 6 other addresses, those are fakes. And so I was like, Parker still doesn't trust us. Like, she's a little bit offended.
But Elliot's impressed. He's like,
yeah, like,
girl.
Yeah. I find it interesting that Sophie, like, that she goes up and it's like, ah, crap, there's a keypad. And Sophie's like, hold on, this is Parker's place. Parker picked the code. That she thinks, and she kind of covers the keypad with her body.
Yeah, she blocks the camera and is typing it in.
Blocks the keypad. And Nate's like, you're not going to tell me what the code is? So it's like, oh, yeah, it's my real name.
Oh.
Yeah, so that.
I like how his face goes, what? Oh.
Like how we're playing that game. Yeah, so basically they go inside, and then like Nate and Sophie are kind of looking around because he sees like posted on like the clear board with Archie on it, and he's like, who the hell is Archie? And then Elliot and Hardison come busted in, be like, Parker, except she's not there. Of course, Nate's like, no, what took you guys so long? You should have beaten us here. And Elliot's just like, we went to the wrong address. And then we get a flashback to Hardison and Elliot going to, now this is either, I believe, a convention center or a store of some kind. Because
they went to 2 different wrong addresses, actually.
Well, there's 6 addresses, but we only see the one that Hardison and Elliot went to.
I think it was the store.
Yeah, it was like either a store or convention center or something. And there's a burly bearded man wearing his Sailor Moon costume. And what's funny is the flashback, Hardison and Elliot just look at each other, just turn around and ask no fucking questions. And they just leave.
But what I love is that as they look at each other before they turn around, you can see it in Christian's eyes. He's trying not to laugh at how stupid this is. You can see it on his face.
I mean, you do you, boo. It's Comic-Con. Anything goes.
I mean, there are people dressed as freaking Jonathan Frakes. Yes. And they're women.
Yeah. Well, it kind of, they're just like, which to be fair, that's just in July in Pittsburgh during the furry convention. For those of you who don't know, about July in Pittsburgh, the convention, there's like a convention, furries, which is funny because the season 2 in Pitt takes place 4th of July weekend. That's usually when the furry convention is the July weekend. So there should be someone in season 2 of the Pit dressed as a furry to make it Pittsburgh accurate. And look, there's a couple times I'd be walking to the bus, I see him, and I always know when it happens because I always see them leaving the airport too. Literally fly
Stop
in.
killing me here.
I'm serious. People literally fly in to go to this. You good?
I will be.
Fly out, and they always have like the heads with them.
Well, okay, so that's like what was it? I think it was Kansas City Comic Con. Yeah, and this is from my boyfriend. He went and met one of my favorite actors of all
Skeet,
time.
skeet already.
Yes, yeah. And while he was waiting in line to get the autograph for me, he looks behind him and he told me this, and there were two girls dressed as Billy Loomis, completely like covered in fake blood. And so he let them go ahead and first, and all he heard was Skeet go, "What the hell?"
What was was but was one
And
dressed as Billy and the other one dressed as Stu?
no, they were both dressed as
Uh,
Billy.
uh,
But had Billy and Stu, uh, cosplay idea because I have the dark hair like Billy Loomis. I could totally do that.
uh,
And
they
but
don't.
the funniest part was the guy that was like getting all like the pictures and stuff out and like, hey, which one do you want? Pick the photo that you want him to sign. And he goes, oh, how do you know Skeet? And he answered honestly. He goes, oh, I don't know him. I haven't seen anything that he's been in. And he goes, oh, really? He goes, this is for my girlfriend. He goes, oh. And then apparently he told Skeet the same thing. And Skeet goes, oh, that's hilarious.
To be fair, that's
Oh, that's
time
funny. But
that's awesome.
I mean, I have because I can go to the Comic Con uh in 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 March. We could drive up there or take a train up there just for a
Nice.
day so I can meet him and be like, do you remember this guy? And if he does, you know what, I am definitely going to dress as Billy Loomis, fake knife and fake blood.
You should have Nico go as Stu.
Yes, I mean he's got the hair for it. Oh man, I love that movie because it's so stupid and so cheesy. Um, and then, but yeah, like, and then he even said that yeah, there was a lot of people dressed in like the anime comic like gear and everything. He's like, yeah,
Yeah,
there was like 2 or 3 furries, and then like there was a bunch of voice actors walking around doing their voices and stuff like that. And he goes, this was so stupid and so funny. And
look, don't get me wrong. People will spend like months working on a single costumes. Like I
but
admire
he said
the
the
patience.
best. He was like, yeah, but the best costume I saw was a girl wearing a corset and elf ears, and she was dressed as Aowen from The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, no, I admire all the skill that goes into making these cosplays. You do you, boo. But there's not a chance in hell you will have me wearing one of those heavy ass outfits, hot ass outfits, in fucking July in Pittsburgh.
True.
Respectfully, I admire the skill. I admire the skill to make the costumes. They all look amazing. It's gonna be a hell no for wearing them in the middle of July though, because that would just be hot and stinky.
Why did that remind me of this? Remind me of an NCIS episode that took place at a Comic Con. And there was a guy that was dressed as Worf from Star Trek.
Okay.
Ugh. But I
Okay.
mean, I love how geeky pretty much everybody is in this show, like literally in real life, all the actors are nerds of some sort, or they have been on a nerdy show. Jonathan Frakes and
Yeah.
fucking Christian Kane, of course, because he was on Angel.
Yes.
Like,
I still
and
can't bring
those shows are so
fuck Josh Whedon.
like well known and very popular to this day, including like this show too, Leverage.
Oh yeah.
Even now, it's so well known, and a lot of these like one time actors and stuff like that who have been on here, even those who are real young,
Like think about
are
like
so well known even now. It's incredible.
Drew Powell, who
Of
plays her.
course.
Yeah. But I'm gonna move on a little bit. So we're, so I had to find my place for a minute. All right, so yeah, so Hardison finally admits that he tracked Sophie's phone. Basically, it was how they found the right address. And Nate's going through all these like papers that are on like a table that Parker has set up, saying she's got timetables, codes, and timetables, tables, codes, everything you would need to basically pull off a heist. And it's having everyone go through it to find out, what Parker's up to and maybe where she went. And then Sophie kind of makes a comment. She's like, this is just put together as one of your plans. And it's like, maybe she's rubbing off, maybe you're rubbing off on her. And it's like, well, I doubt it because she wouldn't have run off to try and beat it. And then he hands like a piece of paper to Hardison, and he's like, Steranko? So has she lost her mind?
And I like how like mad he gets about it, but at the same time, that's like his protectiveness. Like, what the hell, girl?
Like, what the hell is she thinking?
Exactly.
And yeah, and also like it's interesting though. Sophie is like kind of confused, being like, like what is the deal? Like, what is this Steranko? Like, what? Why is everyone making such a big fucking deal about this? And hers, and it's like explains how it's like this toughest security system in the world. And Nellie, it's like, how do you not know this? Sophie points out, like, I'm a grifter. Like, if I'm doing my job right, the mark just turns the alarm off for me. But then Hardison continues, like, it's like, look, if you take one of those computers that could be like 100 people at chess, give it the brain the size of a building, and tag it to military grade like technology, like lasers, sensors, cameras. And it's like, yeah, think of the personality of a pissed off Rottweiler. That's a Steranko. And and Hardison, then this is like I think he calls it a heuristic algorithm that basically adapts and like learns. And Elliot just goes as like it hunts.
And that's kind of creepy if you
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah. So this is like intense. And then what's funny is Nate just turns around, looks at Hardison, and is like, "Can you crack it?" And Hardison's like, like, no, no, Nate, I can't crack. Like, I can't. You can't jump on it. You gotta like must. This like Everest. You don't just climb on it. You gotta like train up for it. And I find it interesting that Nate says, "No, for Parker, can you crack it?" And you can see it like the gears switching hard as his head. He's like, yeah, like I could try, but either way, I can't do it remote. I have to physically be in the building, which is interesting because we know Nate knows exactly what buttons to hit to get everyone to do what he wants, and that was his button for Hardison. Let's be like, no, for Parker, can you do it? Which also kind of makes me think that Nate knows that Hardison has feelings for Parker. But I feel, yeah, I definitely think that line. I think Nate knows that Hardison has feelings for Parker.
Of course. And then, like, I like how whenever one of the other teams, especially our OT3 people, if
Mhm.
any of them are in trouble, like in this case it's Parker that's in trouble, the other two automatically like show their protective side.
Mhm.
And I find that so freaking cute.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, Nate needs to now make a plan to get Hardison inside the building. And now it's like, well, it's like, okay, like we get Hardison in. He opens the door. Parker goes out. And now it's like, yeah, where? Like we don't know like, they don't know where Parker is yet. Of course, Nate finds out, looks at a piece of paper, sees it's the Wakefield building downtown. They're gonna leave with the rallying cry, "Let's go steal a Parker."
When I first watched this, I was like, how's that gonna work?
Yeah,
How's they
well,
gonna steal a Parker from a building that's basically a giant safe at this point?
yeah, well, that's what that's kind of what they got to do. So Hardison, so they must have all gotten to the van and drove to the Wakefield building. And Hardison gets out of the van and explains, it's Wakefield Agricultural Corporation. It's like a big cereal grain market player, and cereal grain being like wheat, uh, rice, corn. I think oat and barley
Yep.
are the cereal grains. So it's like, oh, so it's a grocery store. And Harson's like, yeah, if Godzilla was a gecko, because this is like a big agricultural like research firm too, and but they weren't immune to the 2008 financial crisis because they did some bad investments and uh, research that turned out empty. So the board is basically after the CEO trial rushing set. So Elliot then comes back from his perimeter search and says it's clear and the lobby is on the point of entry. Then he's like, I gotta say, man, I don't like doing this in broad daylight on the fly. And Hardison instantly gets all defensive, be like, "Oh, so you want to throw Parker under the bus?" Huh? No, it's like, no, that's not what I'm saying. Hardison's like, oh, like, yeah, you're saying, like, no, you're saying you want to walk away. No, it's like, no, I'm just saying, I happen to having a damn plan, Hardison. And then that's when Nate has to step down, being like, hey, like, no. So, like, yeah, when you gotta do a job like this, you gotta have like a base camp, right? And it's like, yeah, and a partner because I'm not insane. And and Nate's like, yeah, you got a partner, right? And so they realize Elliot uses the sun's triangulation to basically find out that the pictures were taken from the south side of the building. And Nate takes Elliot. They're gonna go search the building to find the partner, aka Archie. Sophie is gonna get Hardison in the building so he can get his hands on the Strango. What's funny is what's interesting is Hardison's kind of leaning against Finn. He's not happy. And but Sophie then looks at him and is like, like it'll be okay. Like we'll get her out. Like comforting him. And Hardison's like, yeah, quiet and sneaky. I know. So it's like quiet and sneaky is fine if you're thinking like a thief. Thieves find entrances, but grifters, we make them. Then she pulls out a couple outfits from the back of the van. Because of course they have a change of clothes.
Of course.
And And we'll go back into the Shrenko control center where we see Charles rushing and also Dr. and Hannity, who is played by Dean Devlin's wife,
I love
Lisa.
that. I love that.
And
And this isn't the first time that we've seen her in a production by her husband.
no, yeah, so Lisa Brunner was also in an episode of Almost Paradise in season 2 called Deus Ex-Wife Machina. I think it was episode 5.
Yep, it was episode
Right,
5.
Alex Walker's ex
That's why.
Alex Walker, aka Christian Kane's ex-wife.
Yep. And I like how they both joke is like, yeah, you were fake married. Damn, what the hell?
Yeah, at the Electricon panel that I saw for Almost Paradise, that was something that was actually something that Christian brought up. He was like, like my boss's wife is playing my ex-wife,
He was like, how the hell?
and she was like actually slapping him in that.
And he was like, because somebody had asked a question, and at one point she had actually slapped him across the face.
Yeah, I think he did mention that too.
And he goes, damn, she can hit. But this is not the first time that we've seen, like, the family of Devlin on here. I mean, we've had,
Or leverage at least.
yeah,
Time.
but like
Actually, in Redemption, we get one of Dean Devlin's daughters, Hannah.
yeah, we have another family member join in, which is really cool. And then we also get Noah Wiles' daughter.
We get Noah Wiles' daughter in Redemption as well,
which I loved.
Yeah,
but I think it's really cool that they include their families in this, because it really is a family affair.
Yeah, because Lisa Brunner, she also was in The Ark, and is also technically a part of the Librarians universe, as she plays Noah Wiles, aka Flynn Carson, aka Noah Wiles' cousin, in the Librarian movies Quest for the Spear and Return to King Solomon's Mine.
Yep.
Which I think is funny because I think in those two movies, in Quest for the Spear, Flynn's mother tries setting him up with Deborah, even though she's his cousin. And then in Return to King Solomon's Mines, she actually, speaking of Frakesy, in Return to King Solomon's Mine, I think Frakesy plays her husband or fiance something in just like one scene. It's just the one scene where like they're in like the back of like a wagon or something. Yeah. And I think also Hannah Devlin, Dean and Lisa's other daughter, was also in an episode of Librarians, the next chapter.
Yep.
Too.
As I think one of the college students walking by.
Or no, I think she was actually like the victim.
Oh yeah.
Because it was like the graffiti coming to life. Which I just realized that's a little bit like the one Doctor Who episode, but we're moving on. We know that. Anyways, so Hannah and Rushing, they're freaking out. Oh, I actually got to meet Hannah Devlin because at Dean and Hannah, because at the fan screening for the Librarians next chapter, right after I had my mini freak out and I hugged Dean Devlin, Dean then is like, "Oh, have you met my daughter Hannah?" So like I shook her hand. I was like,
and you got the video of him saying, "You should be here right now. Why are you here?"
I
I
do
still
know.
cry every time. Like, she knows I exist.
It is. I will see.
Oh man, I
There'll
love.
be another event. But so moving on, Hannity and Rushing are freaking out about this intruder. And Voorhees assures them, everything's fine. We got them trapped. But if I can lock down the building. And Russian's like, no, like we're bleeding red ink as it is. Like we can't afford to do that. Sorry, and Hannah's like, what would happen to our mark? Like, what would happen to our stock prices if even a rumor of a break-in gets out?
I like how that's where
That's her
their
brain.
brains are at. It's like, why? That should
But
be the
she is,
last thing on your mind.
yeah. And then Rushing gets a message about auditors being downstairs, and he wants everything done quietly. So, yeah. So he, Voorhees decides they're going to go floor to floor, tying IDs with retina scans, and they got like 50 minutes. So now the stakes got even higher because now we got a timetable. And of course, the auditors that rush in this meeting are Sophie and Hardison. And Sophie's playing, I think, Emily Peel, and Hardison is Jonathan Steed.
Yep. And I like how she's playing Emily. Honestly, it's cute.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
not
and basically,
it's not the first time that she played an alias of Emily. I actually found out.
was it?
There was like one other episode. I think it was like in season 5, where her alias was Emily something, and it was like a
Oh,
doctor or
was
something
it?
like that. Yeah.
No, it was in the. Why am I blanking on the name of the
I can picture it in my
first
head.
episode? Why I'm embarrassed as a Leverage fan right now. I should know this. Why am I blanking on the name of the fucking episode?
I can picture it in my head, but I can't remember the episode off the top of my brain.
Oh, low price job.
Yeah.
I think she. Oh, it's L. Oh, she's Ellie Slap player because it's in reference to Jurassic Park.
Yep.
That place, but I'm sure we'll figure it out as we go along here. But yeah. So basically, now they got a timetable. So yeah, Sophie basically plays on Rushing's fear of like getting audited and basically like getting shut down because she's like, I'm here to see who gets fired today. And I can see Rush and be like, oh, fuck. Good. Anyways, Elliot and Nate go to the building across the street, and I love like because they have like a ninja zoom from like outside of the Wakefield building, and then it zooms into Nate and Elliot on the roof of the other building. They're walking along, and they're like, okay, yeah, this is the right building. And then Archie just comes around the corner, and Nate recognizes him. It's like, Lisbon. And Archie walks with him. It's like, I think Florence. And I was like, you know him? And Archie's like, Nate, Mr. Ford and I, we moved in similar spheres. And then he looks at Nate and is like, it was Mallorca, which is in Spain. And Nate says, right, white doves. Which I want to see that. What that looked like, because that sounds like it could be interesting. But yeah, so Nate introduces Archie and Elliot. That's basically the world's greatest thief. But then there's two guards with guns that come up behind, and what's funny is Nate looks at Archie, like, really? Elliot's like, here we go again. are just like, sorry. And what's funny is Nate just looks at Elliot, gives him a nod, and then Elliot goes all punchy.
I like how Elliot kind of, any more so now, is like waits for permission to punch somebody,
And be like,
and I love it.
yeah.
And
So
that
Nate
makes
it's like, yeah,
oh
okay.
that makes sense to who was it? This was in a later episode. I think it was in this season where he's like, "You brought your attack dog." Talking about Elliot,
Hot dog. Was
but
that was I think that was in the French Connection job in
it,
season 5 when Elliot fights that one Mert guy. He recognized him because Elliot's
no, wait,
that
it was actually no, it was in I think either this next episode or the episode after where it's Damien Moreau. He goes, "Oh, you're now his attack dog, really? You
uh,
were." It was like you were so much more when you worked with me. He goes, "Yeah, I don't want to be like that anymore.
yeah.
I'm." And
I feel
basically, he
that
was implying I'm much more than an attack dog.
yeah. Yep,
It's kind of. I like how he's like just dropped down to non-human at that moment. It's
as
funny.
he just looks at Nate like, can't like want me to? It's like, yeah, go ahead. And knocks him out. And as Nate and Archie start talking, and Nate's
I
like,
love that he waited for permission. He's like, "Can I do it? Can I? Can I?
yeah.
Come on, let me at him."
And so because Nate's like, you're pretty spry for a dead guy to Archie. And they're just like, oh, even the car crash in Paris? Nobody fell for that. And I just like, tell me, what's the color of the hat you're wearing these days? Black or white? So we kind of get that again, Black King, White Knight motif.
Yep.
And Elliot was funny. He kind
Basically, he was asking him, "What team are you on right now?" Let me just clarify.
yeah, yeah, yes.
And you can see you can see the annoyance in his eyes of I don't want to answer this question, and he
Yeah,
kind of subtly answers it, but in a roundabout way of at this moment I'm neither. I'm me in this moment. I'm here to help people,
uh, yeah,
and I like
yeah,
how he gets annoyed and rubbed the wrong way when Archie asks that question.
yeah. You can see it in
And
his
it pissed him off a little bit. You could see it in his eyes. He wanted to snap back, but he didn't. He held back.
yeah, yeah. Because then what's funny is Elliot. Sorry, and then Elliot's in the background fighting for his life. And then he pops up. There's this, come on, boy.
Like, come
I
on.
don't know. And then what's funny, George just goes like, pardon me, sir. Takes the goon out with the cane. Elliot finishes him off, but it looks George like, I'm impressed.
Oh yeah, because he like trips him with the cane and then like smacks him right in the face. And he falls.
And then Elliot's able to finish him.
I like how he kind of helped Elliot
It's
out,
like,
and that was adorable.
yeah.
And he
I
kind of
always
just nodded, he's like, respect. And I think you can see it on Elliot's face in that moment. He goes, "This old man can fight."
yeah, I always
uh,
love it when Elliot does it. Come on, boy.
or just the two finger. Come on.
That's sexy. I'm sorry. That just
It's awesome, and it makes the fight way cooler.
yeah. So then Nate's like, those guys weren't with you. I was just like, no, like I was their hostage. Parker is rescuing me. Now it's like, why would Parker want to rescue you? And I was just like, just casually, because I'm her father. And then just walks away. It's funny. Nate starts following, Nellie's just like, what the fuck?
It's like, huh? What? What do you mean? What? What's going on? I don't understand.
And then,
You're so confused, and I love it.
yeah, because then we cut back to like Sophie and Rushing. Or Sophie asks Rushing for like all the heads of department and senior executives. Basically, she's setting up to get everyone in like one spot so she can cause as much chaos. So, uh, and also to to give Hardest an excuse to be alone in an office with a computer because she says he needs well, Mr. Steve needs a computer to go through all the documents, and Roshan reluctantly lets it. We go back to the roof where Parker or Archie actually explains that of course, he's like, of course I'm not a real father, and not how they met on the streets in New York City 12 years prior, because she stole his wallet, and then Archie trained her up and basically trained her to be his perfect thief.
Yep.
And I love the
And
flashback.
in a way, I think he even said, I wanted to fine hone her natural skills.
Yeah.
Or something to that effect. And that immediately rubbed me the wrong way. I'm like, why would you want to, in my head, I'm like, why would you want to train a young kid to be a thief? Like
No,
that?
because he said she had a gift.
Yeah.
And
And
this flashback we get
it kind of made me hate Archie in that way instead of
a little bit, yeah.
He basically extorted her for his own gain, and it really sucked.
Yeah. And then this flashback we get, like Parker is going through the laser grid. She grabs like ice cream sundae, and then Archie just holds up the spoon. And then she's able to navigate the grid with the ice cream in her hand without dumping it, which I think is impressive.
Yeah.
But Nate points out, she was your legacy. I was like, I made her, and then I unleashed her on the world. And Nate kind of gets offensive because, she was broken, right? Like you should have taken her in, and it's like, what? Raised her at, as Archie said. I was like,
he basically told him that Nate tells Archie that instead of using her as a tool, you should have raised her as a daughter.
Yeah.
Instead. And Archie kind of scoffs at this. He's like, well, she had this natural born talent. I could see it.
Yeah. And but then
he basically said it's something to be harnessed. I saw that. I saw her skill. I wanted to hone in on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's even a flashback where she gets caught while he's training her, and he's borderline almost abusive to her about it. It's like, you should have done better. What? No, it was with her foster parents. It's like,
you with the pilot, you mean?
No. It was in this episode when you remember the bunny on the bed?
No, the bunny on the bed. That was the bunny that was in the pilot flashback.
Yeah. And it's like her foster parents go, you should have been better at being sneaky.
That was Archie though,
and I think she learned from that of not wanting to trust people, but it took a lot for her to trust Archie.
Yeah.
When he took her in and honed in her skills, and she learned from that and got a little cocky about it, and I loved it.
Because now, because Archie also shows Nate a picture. So this is my wife Marilyn, and my grandsons, and he loves them. And Archie's like, she wouldn't fit in with the real family, and she doesn't fit in anywhere. It comes over, and then it's like, yeah, but she's good enough to send it to a death trap, huh? And Archie's like, I didn't send her in there. I was retired, and whoever they were contacted me to steal a canister from Wakefield, or they'd hurt his family. Was basically what happened. And Archie thought he could break the thing, so he called Parker for help just to plan, and then she went off on her own.
Yep.
Because also, like, because Nate points out that Archie's like, "Yeah, you couldn't beat a Steranko even in your prime." Yeah, just like, "Which I've long past. Thanks for the reminder."
I like how he Archie gets a little defensive. He's like, "Well, that's a sore subject. How dare you?"
But it's also not entirely wrong.
No, but I love it. I love how like
Yeah, yeah.
Nate basically does a cold read on Archie and knows how to push his buttons to make him annoyed, and I love it.
Yeah, because, like, you couldn't, like, there's no way you can crack a Steranko even in your prime.
He goes, "Oh, how dare you?"
Yes, yes. And then Nate tells Elliot to get into position because once Hardison finds the door for Parker, he wants Elliot to go help her of the out of the door, basically.
Yep, out of the situation, basically.
Yeah, so Elliot leaves and he kind of like glares at Archie a bit before leaving. Nathan checks in on Hardison on comms, and Hardison says he's still kind of getting set up and connected. Nate then hands Archie an earbud and is like, "I want that back." As Hardison finds like the actual cable and gets connected basically to the Steranko. So Sophie's in like the meeting room. She's basically waiting for next move, and because she's like, "Nate, what am I doing here?" And it's okay. You want to cause some chaos? Got get everyone to focus on you, on each other. Just get them off Hardison's back. So Sophie tells them all that basically they're all fired, but if they could convince her that their job's important enough, she'll rehire them. So everyone starts talking and yelling and getting upset. So she did her job. Hardison connects to the Strenko and sees that it's only at a level 1 alarm, basically. So Parker will be okay as long as she stays hidden. And apparently, there's also 4 levels. 1's a passive lockdown, 2's fire, 3 is a terrorist takeover, 4 is like full hazmat. And the bad news is that uh, they can't walk Parker out the door because it'll find her. Oh, which Elliot compares it to a lobster trap because he's walking the perimeter. And Nate asks about the perimeter, and how Elliot says, there's like security, there's cameras and sensors on everything. And then he starts thinking, and he looks at one of the higher up buildings or one of the higher up windows. And it's like, what do you bet these suits types don't like giving up their privacy? Har's like, that's not bad, actually. So basically, Nate says it's a party, and now they got to go find Parker. Except Hardison points out that that's a problem because anything basically Hardison does to try and find Parker, like piggyback off cameras, access sensors, whatever, will guide the building to Parker and the bad guys will get her. So basically, their only choice now is to wait for Parker to send up a signal and hope they get to her before the bad guys do. And we see Parker's in the shafts and the vents. Shocker. Parker in the vent.
Of course.
Lasers and the ventilation shaft. And she gets so upset. She's like, lasers and the ventilation shaft?
Come on.
Yeah, but anyway, she gets like backs out, finds her way out the vents, sees they're tying IDs to retina scans. And so she grabs a coat, glasses, and runs to one of the chemicals. And she pulls out her cell phone, but see, she doesn't have signal. I'm assuming the building has a signal jammer. So she calls Hardison from a landline, which tells me Hardison is the only phone number Parker has memorized. What's funny
Probably.
is Hardison, Yeah, because Hardison answers and he's like, speak. Parker's like, Hardison, I screwed up. I'm in a building downtown. And Hardison's like, we're already here, mama. Hardison called Parker mama, though.
That was cute.
That was cute. And then Parker kind of is taken back. She's like, what? You're all here? And I was just like, wait, are you calling me from a company landline? And she's like, yeah, but it's okay because I have an ID. And I was just like, no, like they're tying IDs to retina scans. Like if a guard spots you, you're done for. And now the building, now the Stranko knows where you're at. I was like, what? Make it stop. I was okay. Like you need to move. Like you need to hang up and move. Go to cubicle 27 and wait. And Parker hangs up and they go. And she goes, sorry. Nate and Archie are then going through like all the papers that Archie got, and Nate says, like, how does everyone like what would you say if I told you that all of Mr. Leach's plans have the Wakefield logo on them? And they realize that there's an inside man because they are internal documents that only high level people could get. And then to identify Nate has Sophie kind of look around, see who's basically calm. Sophie sees that Hannity is being extremely calm despite her job being threatened. So Hardison looks up Hannity and sees that she's the senior vice president of the research and development department, and she runs the biotech lab. Nate realizes she also has access to the Shrenko and also the vault Parker's hitting, so they both realize that basically Hannity's the inside man. No. And then Archie also points out that an inside job only works if they kill Parker. So we got more stakes now because now they actively know that they're going to try and kill Parker, and they got a timetable. So if this job wasn't stressful enough, now they got an inside person to be worried about. So of course Archie is all freaking out, but Nate shows him his class people on it, and that's Hardison where Parker is. Hardison says he took care of it, and we see a flashback to him putting an earbud in like one of those manila envelopes, puts it in the mail, sends it to cubicle 27, and Hardison and Parker grabs it, puts the earbud, and she's like, "Okay, come get me." Parker's like, "It's Archie there," and asks if he's okay. And Archie says, I'm right as rain, kiddo." And it's like, kiddo. I think he was jealous. Parker apologizes, saying about the codes, and Artie's like, "What were you thinking?" And Parker's like, "They would have caught you and hurt your family, your real family. I couldn't let that happen." Archie kind of like looks at Nate, but just like, "All right, just sit tight. You'll be okay." Parker's like, "Yes, sir." And then Nate walks and is like, "Sir." Um, so Archie asks Parker to look around, and like people are just taking shit now from the office. So Parker points out she's like people are stealing things and are really being really bad at it. And then Parker gets approached by a kind of nerdy looking guy who he thinks Parker is the woman who's been sexting with him. Thankfully, some employees get Parker away. And yes, Archie then kind of takes over for a bit and asks Hardison if they got a way out for the girl. Hardison did find basically a blank in Rushing's office on the 30th floor. Tells Elliot it was a nice call. Elliot then gets upset because now he's got to go scale a 40-story building in broad daylight. And it's like, yes, and you got to do it now. So Elliot finds one of those like painters lifts that they use for like cleaning the windows. I don't know what they're actually called, but they're on the lift. And uh, well, Elliot's going to the lift, I should say. So Hardison does a little more research, and Hannity finds out that she blew $60 million last year and didn't make any money making this like super wheat. And Nate tells Sophie to let everyone but Hannity go and get her steamed. And I love this scene with Sophie and Hannity because Sophie, she just has some blank like printer paper
Mm-hmm.
folder, but it's her delivery of everything because she basically lets Hannity fill in the blanks herself. She's just looking at it, just like, right, your resume. Let's look at your resume, shall we? It's a little thin. And Hannity starts listing off all these things. He's like, oh, only middle of your class and only published here and there. And of course, Hannity gets off and just like, I am senior vice president of a Fortune 500 company. So, so it's like, yes, and so such weak credentials. And I think we forget that Sophie is that bitch.
Yep.
And God bless Lisa Brenner for, oh God, I'm so sorry. But God bless Lisa Brenner for this evil speech of evil.
We get an evil speech of evil.
Because she basically is explaining what like her plan is, which is basically to release a blight to uh, basically take out all the wheat, so then Wakefield can basically be the dominant person in the agricultural market.
Yep.
So good job, Lisa Brenner. And I like how like after the speech, Sophie gets kind of shook up because it takes her like a full minute to be like, Nate, I've lost her. Like Sophie was so shook by the audacity of this woman that she let her walk away and had to like compose her and be like, I lost her. So Nate thinks it's through and he comes to the conclusion that Hannity wants the blight to get out. And she had basically hired Archie to steal the blight so it can get out without it being blamed on her. And Nate says they got to stop her, while Archie says they got to get Parker out. And of course, Archie's all pissed off, and Nate's trying to think of a plan. And Archie then tells Parker, it's like, hey, you got to make a run for it. And Nate's like, no, stay put. You run, they're going to catch you. So Harrison tells Parker, or opening, to like get to the door they plan. And and she goes. Elliot is there at the window. He's got a crowbar, probably ready to smash the window. And Hardison goes Parker to the room, explaining why he's guiding her where she is. Sophie is still in the meeting room, by the way. She says, like, look, I know we're here to get Parker up with Hannity. She's a real piece of work. And like we need to take her down. So Parker makes it to the room as Nate and Archie leave off the roof. Parker's standing there. You can tell she's reflecting. It's like, no, like this is not the time for crazy. And Parker's like, no, I have to go back. And I think this is such a big Parker moment because she's like, look, like if I leave, like the Shrenko has the record of the breaking. If I like Hannity could take the blade out and then blame the break-in on me, like I have to go back. And I was just like looking at her like she's crazy. And even Arch is like Parker, this is not what I taught you to do. Because Parker wants to steal the blight now, and she's like, Arch is like, no, this isn't what I taught you to do, and this is not what we do. Parker's like, no, this isn't what you do. Like Kennedy is a bad person who's gonna hurt a lot of people. This is what we do. And I think Sophie has a little bit of a proud mama moment.
I like how she's able to stand up to Archie and be like, I've changed. I'm not the same girl that you trained to be a thief.
Yeah.
I'm more than that now. I help people.
Yeah, 'cause
And I like how dumbfounded Archie gets for a split second. He's like,
yeah, this is what we do. And I think Sophie has a proud mama moment. She's like, hey, she's right. And Harsh is just like, well, somebody better decide something because Shrenko's whooping my ass.
Hernan's getting his butt kicked by his security system.
Like, I'm getting my ass beat. Somebody better decide something.
So this is funny. This is funny. I just realized something. What this is basically, it's like the security system version of the Smart House movie.
Oh.
I just realized that. That's kind of what this is.
Yeah, but
I'm not gonna unsee that now.
So Archie argues with Nate, and Nate said Parker's like, can he do it? And Parker's like, I know what I did wrong. And I could do I was alone before, but I'm not alone anymore. Like I can do this. And then she tells Hardison to clear a path to the vault. Nate says, okay, it's your show. And then Parker runs back out. Elliot's shaking his head. Archie gets heated with Nate though. Because he's like, wow, the sanctimonious, like, she was free. Like, she was so free. It's just like, you basically killed her. That's what you bloody done. And of course, Parker gets caught by a guard, and then she kind of turns, and you see her smirk a little before Elliot knocks out the guard. It was funny. He just stared at her grumpy, and Parker's still just smiling. And he just throws his finger like, let's go.
But I like how the guards, before they turn around and see Elliot standing there, they look confused. Why is she smirking? What's going on? And then they turn around and bam, they get their butts kicked.
It's a pissed off.
I love it. They pissed off the big brother.
Oh yeah.
That's what it was in that moment. Nobody messes with Parker.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was funny as Parker, I think, knew Elliot was following her. But yeah, I just love that moment with her. Yeah, so they start running. Hardison gets both to the stairwell. Goons are coming up. And Elliot's like, damn it, Hardison, what the hell, man? You're supposed to keep these guys off of us. As Elliot, fights on the stairwell. When Parker gets her rig set up. And I was like, do you want my job? I was like, Elliot's like, you want mine?
He's like, I get punched and hit all day. He goes, well, my job ain't all that easy either.
Yeah, so Hardison tells them to get to the biotech level, and he's got them a elevator and a door to the vault, but he tells them to get to the biotech level as the shrink goes on. We also see Voorhees figuring out that Sophie and Hardison were fakes, and thinks it's Archie doing it themselves. So Hardison tells them they need to hurry, and Parker sets up a rig or pulls down and meets Elliot down at the biotech level with the scan. And Hardison tells them he got him an elevator and the door to the vault, but now he's officially locked out. Tells Hardison to get Sophie in GTFO. And then he gets on the phone. And I love this shot. So there's this next shot. They come around the corner. Elliot knocks out a card, slides, and then pops up and continues. I love that shot. Like doing the knee slide and then or no, he just like he runs, slides as he kicks somebody and then pops up and they keep running. And what's funny is the guy who the guy from earlier, I don't remember what his name is. I feel like it's Todd for some reason. I don't know.
Or something like that, yeah.
But uh but he talks to Parker. Elliot gets him pushes him up against the wall. Just about to like knock him up. It's like, no, like he's okay. Elliot backs off. And Parker is just and he's like, who was that? And Parker just says, boyfriend, and walks away. The poor guy, because he's walking away and he's like, this day sucks. What's funny is as Parker and Elliot are running, Parker's like, what's sexting?
He's like, I'm not having this conversation with you, Parker. Oh.
But it's funny.
I like how did you notice how blushy he got when he goes, I'm not having this conversation with you. He got so red faced.
Which so you watched episode 2 to He and the Rivalry, right?
No.
Not yet. Wait, did you see?
I saw episode 1.
I thought you were watching 2.
I tried to get it to load, it would not cooperate.
Yeah, well, this isn't really major like plot spoilers, but there's a scene in Heat and Rivalry when Ilya texts Shane right before a game. Ilya texts Shane right before a game, and they meet up, and they meet up afterwards. And Shane meets him by the back door, and Ilya's like, "You're gonna murder me." And Shane's like, "Maybe, get in." So they get in, and then Shane shoves Ilya against the wall. And I was like, why the fuck would you think it was okay to sex me right before the game? What the fuck? And Ilya is just standing there with hands up, just like you were hard, weren't you? For how long? The whole game? And then Shane was like, such a fucking asshole. And then they run up the fucking stairs, like crawling. And then you can imagine probably what happens next. But around the first time, you see someone get thrown against a wall over sexting.
I mean, it's usually Shane that gets shoved up against the wall.
Now,
I mean, it's cute. But I mean, great. Now I'm gonna have to go watch that. I hate you.
You
Um,
need to watch episode 2. But yeah. So, anyways, yeah. So Parker then cracks the vault door with the scanner. We get another twirl. I think this is twirl number 2 we get.
yep.
Twirl number 2 we get this episode because he twirls the crowbar and then he twirls the scanner.
And okay, just a little side question. How many times do you think they had to film the crow where he flips the crowbar because Christian
I
dropped
wouldn't
it?
be surprised if Kane cracked himself.
Probably.
Though to be fair,
I
I know it's
I
probably
just
just like a
I just
foam
picture,
crowbar.
but still, it takes some coordination to grab it.
Yeah, yeah. But so
But
like
like
actually hurt himself. But I
I
just picture
picture
like him
I
twirling
picture
it
for
and
some
it's coming up
but
and
yeah,
still cracking him.
I picture for some reason they swapped it out with the real one and he goes to spin it and he drops it and he hurts himself.
Um, yeah, and then this next part's funny because Parker she gets the blade out of thing and is smiling at Elliot. Elliot's like, also guys to be like, yeah, you're great, you're awesome. Let's go.
I love how annoyed he gets and he's like, come on, let's still get out of here. Let's go.
But that is when the Steranko decides to trigger a level 4.
Uh-oh.
So now it's full DEFCON 1 up in this bitch.
Yep.
So outside the building, Nate steals some biohazard suits. Archie comes up, pulls the gun on Nate, and it's like the building's locked down. They'll get Parker. She is perfect, but you ruined her with your stupid Robin Hood fantasies. So what is she like? What is she now? And it's like I don't know, and I don't even think Parker knows. But I do know. Like I'm just like you're not, or you're a thief, not a hitter, and we both die to protect her. If you're gonna shoot me, shoot me. I got work to do. And then Archie is kind of shocked, and he's like, "You're going after her?" Nate's like, "Always was, Leech, always was." Before handing him a hazmat suit. So Hannity and Voorhees go to the elevator. They see, you just see people in hazmat suits, and bring them up a few floors. Archie takes off the helmet, and is basically trying to like up the price for the inconvenience to like kill him. Hannity doesn't fall for that and basically confesses to everything. What's funny is Archie then turns to like the person beside him and says, Is that enough for you, young lady?" And then the other person takes their helmet off, and it was revealed to be Janet Lynn, who was actually in the beginning of the episode as she's on the news. So she's on the watching for the news. And then we also see her go when Nate and Archie go to steal the biohazard suits or the hazmat suits. So it was funny, and she's like, "I like to get your comment on your to commit murder." And I always love that deer in the headlights look that marks get when they get busted. I
And it's
love
a
it.
common thing of shit, I've been caught.
Like,
Oh
oh, like how am I supposed to backtrack out of this one?
no. How do I get myself out of this one now?
Yeah. So, and then a flashback, we find out what actually happened. So back on the roof, Nate had asked Hardison to ask him if he could trigger a fake hazmat alarm. It's funny, Hardison's like, "I've been busting my ass to make sure this thing didn't go DEFCON 4."
Now you want it to go DEFCON 4? Are you kidding me?
Nah. Yeah, so Hardison basically does that, and then that's when he told uh, Parker that they got him an open door on the vault floor in an elevator, and but now he's locked out. So all that happened right before he got locked out. And we also see Nate convince Janet to agree to record everything. And in the elevator, Nate Hardison got Nate out of the elevator by pulling him up through like the top. And Archie and Janet's, news team were in the hazmat gear. And I'm assuming Parker and Hart and Elliot probably went up the same way
Yeah.
before Kennedy and Voorhees got into the elevator. But yeah, this so then we see the team coming down the cliff, on the lift. Sophia shakes her hair out, which causes Elliot to do the same thing. Yeah,
I love that.
love the gloat. We go under a bridge, or then we see like Nate and Archie under a bridge. They kind of talking, and they basically come to a mutual agreement that they're okay with each other.
Yeah, basically Parker's two dads. The one that actually.
It's Parker's two dads.
Yeah, it's so cute.
They're both Parker's dads, essentially.
Exactly. It's like
they agree to end it like gentlemen, essentially, is what it is.
Yeah. It was the verbal agreement, and it wasn't really like a physical handshake, but it was a verbal agreement that we're on mutual terms that Parker is good with the team.
Yeah, like we're good.
That's where she fits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
for now at least.
But Parker is saying her goodbyes to Archie because Parker's Archie's like, there are times now that I wish. Like he's saying, he regrets being so hard on her, and then Parker just hugs him, and she says, "I wouldn't have fit in with the real family." And she's crying, and Archie says, it doesn't matter because you made one on your own.
She's like, and it's not perfect.
Yeah, because
but it works for me, is what she says, basically.
To
that something effect, basically, like
like Parker's like they're good, a little undisciplined.
But it works for me.
Yeah. And what's cute is Parker goes away.
I cried when he was like, "But you found your people," basically.
Yeah. And he is like apologizing for being so hard on her and basically not treating her as a daughter. Essentially, is what that is. And it's kind of cute and sweet at the same time. Parker walks away, and Archer's like, "My wallet, Parker." And Parker kind of smiles and turns around and then tosses
and she kind of looks at him and kind of chuckles, and she just reaches it, like, "Let's have it." And the proud grin on his face. I loved it.
Like she had to at least try once to get one on the old man.
Yeah, and it failed.
Yeah, but I think she knew it, but it was just like,
I have to try.
Yeah. And then
pulling the prank on the old man, basically, is what it was, and I loved it.
Yeah, and then she walks up to Nate and is like, what did you talk about? Parker's like, "Oh, just thief stuff." And that's actually where the episode ends.
That was cute, though. And Nate kind of, like, I could see it in his eyes. He was proud of her.
Yeah.
For not really necessarily closing the chapter on her and Archie's relationship, but kind of shutting that door.
Yeah, and also mending the bridge.
A little bit.
Yeah. So final notes. I love how this episode was written and paced, because if you think about it, this episode kind of happened in real time. If you think about it, like There's only like once the team arrive at Wakefield, there is no time jump if you think about it.
Yeah.
There's no time. There's no real time jump in this episode. Like like at the start of the episode, we see Parker in Wakefield, and then we see Nate get the phone call from Archie that Parker was in danger, and then everything happens. Bam, 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 bam. There's no time jump where it's like, okay, we got to spend a week doing this. Maybe spend a couple days doing this. No, it's like all happens simultaneously, or all happen like in live time, essentially. And I think is this the first episode where everything's in live time?
Yep. And then there's another episode later on where it's kind of like split 50-50.
Yeah, yeah, a little live time, a little bit of time jump.
Yeah. Which I love. But I love this was an introduction to Archie, which
Yeah,
he remains a key component
of
in
Parker.
Parker's life and also part of the team in a certain way of like he's still there for her, supporting her.
Because we see Archie again in the last damn job as Parker
As
recruits.
one of like the like additional team members in
Yeah,
that way, which I love. And I'm going to cackle when we get to that episode.
I know, because your boy Quinn will be back.
Yes.
Oh,
And there are some good quotes in that I'm gonna geek over for obvious reasons. But
yeah,
I love that Archie was turned from like just a mentor to like a father to her, and then was like a proud parent that watched this child go off to college basically at the end of the episode. Kind of
and
like
I
move on and is now happy where she's at for now
uh,
at least,
yeah,
and she's got a place that she
she does.
fits in.
Yeah, I also love how much Parker, like this episode showed how much Parker had grown because she went from being alone to, the moment where she's like, like I could do this because I'm not alone.
Yeah,
Like I was alone before, now I'm not alone. And her realizing she's not alone anymore is giving her the confidence to be like, yes, I can do this. I know what I did wrong. I'm not alone anymore. I can do this. And she did. And I love the dynamic of Parker and Elliot and that knowing spark that Parker has when she sees Elliot after he knocked out the goon for her. Like, I just love that. And honestly, we see that dynamic continue even to the redemption series finale, where Elliot, there's a speech that Elliot has with Parker because Parker is seriously like considering actually murdering Mark.
I
And
like how he calm her down and like talk her down from killing somebody.
But he doesn't actually say no, don't kill this person. He's like, look, whatever call you make,
You're gonna have
whatever
to live with.
you feel right about this, I will back you 100%.
And then we get uh, a similar
That's
like
inside.
speech sort of with Nate and Elliot in the last damn job, where he
Yeah,
goes like two people. He's like two people die. Two people die when you pull that trigger. The person you used to be and the person that you kill.
and that also in season 4 with the long way down job, Elliot has that emotional speech with Parker about
Yep.
how they're not like the others and they can do the things the others can't.
Yep.
And that is the distinct difference between why Nate talked or why Elliot talks down Nate from shooting Latimer
Yep.
and why Elliot tells Parker in the side job in season 3 of Redemption, why he says, well, no matter what you decide, I will back you.
I
Even
love
though
that.
he knew, because he knows Parker would be able to handle the, I guess, repercussions emotionally.
Yeah. Because emotionally, she can kind of figure things out now, and that's
Yeah.
and it's also because she
Also
now
can,
and then she also is taking on the role partially of the mastermind.
yeah.
She stepped into Nate's shoes, so she kind of knows how to handle herself now.
Yeah. And she also has the right mental, uh,
Like strength to handle this.
and discipline
Yeah.
at that point to be able to handle taking a life.
Yeah.
Whereas Nate, the guilt would eat him alive.
Yeah. And I like how that's like the growth between the two of them.
Yeah, and also it shows why Nate chose Parker as his successor
Yeah.
because she can make the calls
And in
that
the and
he,
I noticed in the later episodes he kind of takes her under his wing and starts mentoring her a little bit in each of the jobs.
I would be surprised if, well, that was all the way back in like season 1, started doing that. But now in season 3, it's like a more obvious. Once again, I have to point out hard Parker Mama.
It
That was just too cute.
was adorable.
Because he does it twice. One when he Parker answers the phone, or he answers the phone when Parker calls him, and she's all freaking out. And I was like, "We're already here, Mama." And then he starts telling her about the stairwell when he's guiding her to the the room to get out. He's like, "Home stretch, Mama." So he does it twice. I also love how this episode really as a mastermind and how he's also changed. He willingly gives up control to both Archie and Parker in this episode. Whereas before he'd never do that. He had to be the one in control all the time. He like willingly lets Parker and Archie take control in this episode. And Elliot needs a vacation, especially because if he probably just like was wanting to like chill. Maybe it was supposed to be a day off, just wanted to chill, maybe like have to watch the sports. I don't know. And then he had to go to Parker. So I understand why he was grumpy. Well, not only did he have to stay with Parker, he also had to deal with the security system. That's over. So he needs a vacation. And I also love that Archie's kind of modeled after the classic 70s gentleman thief. And it makes sense that Parker has like an old school approach to thievery because she was taught by like an old school thief.
Yeah. And I like how she kind of learns new tricks from the team and from
She,
Nate that she applies later on in the later episodes. And then eventually in Redemption, she applies that even more.
yeah.
it kind of tweaks her skills a little bit, and I love it.
Yeah, and I love that this episode also shows how everyone works together, how well everyone works together.
Yep.
And so in terms of the overarching plot, is again season 3, they're all supposed to be figuring out how to get to Damien Moreau, because there's that 6-month timetable where they're supposed to be taking people down close to Moreau so they can get to Moreau. And this episode didn't really feature any overarching plot. And also, the last episode, it didn't have anything. Well, like in the episode itself, it didn't really have anything to do with Moreau. Like neither, like his name wasn't dropped in that episode. Now, however, in the next episode, uh, is dealing with overarching plot stuff as the bad guys connected to Moreau. So those are all my notes. Do you have any other notes you'd like to add
Um,
before I wrap up?
Actually, no, because I didn't get a chance to properly watch the episode again. Because my phone was being stupid. It kept pausing every time I tried to rewatch the episode. But I remember a lot of this episode. And I like how Parker went from blindly following what Archie was suggesting in the beginning of this episode to basically saying, I'm not that person anymore. You can't blindly force me to follow you and follow what you want me to do.
Yeah.
I'm my own person. And I like how she got some growth a little bit of, I'm not going to be this pawn for you to use and abuse anymore.
Yeah.
I am my own person. This team that I'm with now shows me that I can be my own person and still be a badass and steal stuff.
And also, this is the episode I think where she realizes like she's not alone anymore.
Yeah,
Like
and she's not just a pawn.
Yeah.
And you can see that realization in her eyes when she confronts Archie.
Mm-hmm.
Of like, I am done being used by you and used for your good only. With these guys, I can do good for people. I can help people.
Yeah, like this bad person is down. I know how to take them down.
Yeah, and I love that realization of her growth as a person, of her skill set.
Yeah.
The shift of her character a little bit, it shifts a little bit towards more of like a modern day Robin Hood.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just a thief. She's more of a Robin Hood now, which I love.
Yeah.
It makes me really happy.
Yeah. So I'm gonna start. If there's nothing else, I'm gonna start wrapping up this episode.
Okay.
So once again, I want to thank our sponsor, nafco.org. If you want to support the podcast, you can buy us a coffee on Ko-Fi at Films and Fandoms. Link also in the chat. This is the invite code for our Discord if you want to go join it. You can follow the podcast on Instagram at FNFandoms with Kaylee and Lex. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at FNFandoms and on Facebook at Films and Fandoms. You can find my website, KayleeSantelacting.com. You can follow me on Twitter at MissMovieFan_67. On TikTok at MovieFan_67. And you can follow Alex on Instagram at Alex_the_Alleycat. On Twitter at AlexAlleycat. And on TikTok at AlexAlleycat. And you can go support our friends at My Filmworks on Facebook and see what they've been up to. So the next episode is season 3, episode 4, the Shahrazad job.
I love that episode.
That is that I actually have a little bit of a personal connection with in a roundabout way. But yeah, next episode is the Shahrazad job. Then it's the double blind job. And then I believe it is the studio job.
Which is my favorite episode of season 3.
Yes, you just got Shahrazad a job, and then double blind job, and then studio job. So I know
It's
you're.
gonna be fun. I'm gonna be excited when we get to the studio job. Just yeah, and y'all will see why.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in the next episode.